fai chiamare Giannina, 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 ti fai chiamare Marina, 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 ma il nome è tuo bambina, 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 è un nome da donnina d'origine strana, ti chiamerò Calena, 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 una cittadina bruna che viene da lontano, ti chiamerò Calena, 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 però la luna per te. In cielo le stelle brilleranno a mille, mentre nella valle giocheremo al gioco dell'amor. Lontano il vento volerà contento, forse a raccontar la mia felicità. Ti chiamerò Calena, 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 ti darò la luna se resti con me. Chiamerò Calena, 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 ruberò la luna per te.
It was an Italian, Christopher Columbus, who discovered America in the name of the Queen of Spain. It was an Italian, John Cabot, who explored the coasts of Labrador in the name of the King of England. The Italians gave the world a continent. Perhaps they have since been hoping to regain it for themselves. There are 150,000 Italians living in Montreal. About half of them live in this quarter, in the northwest part of the city. The church is Italian. Built in 1918, it's called Madonna della Difesa. It used to be called Suzanne Street. After some argument, the city authorized the change of name. The neighboring streets are still called Drolet, Saint-Laurent, Bélanger. But in the new suburbs where the Italians are settling, the streets may have names like Venice, Naples, Genoa. The Italians first came to Montreal at the beginning of the century. They settled where these houses now stand. Many came from New York. They had emigrated in their thousands to the United States to work with pick and shovel on the great railroads that were being built during the 19th century. The occasion is, in a sense, the remembrance of a mass migration. It is the remembrance of generations of immigrants who came to the New World from the parched lands of central Italy. It's a local celebration, an annual affair, and the entire community takes part.
Dammi prima capire, qua giriamo la posizione. Facete il passaggio, per piacere. Il cavallo si fa filmare, si fa filmare. Là, tu prends les dégâts parce que tu t'amènes au pass. Ok là? Vous tirez plus. En arrière, oui. En arrière. Passage per piacere.
Every year, a French-Canadian parish sends a band of zouaves, those traditional defenders of the Papal States. There's no impersonal, cosmopolitan atmosphere here. It's a tightly knit community bound by a common language and outlook. It's a community where the ties with the old country are still strong. These garlands of dollar bills will be cleansed of the taint of commerce and symbolically become pure silver once again. They are offerings to buy a few bricks for a church where prayers may continue to be said in Italian, or for that matter in dialect. For the Madonna della Difesa understands the dialect of Campobasso. Above the altar of the Madonna della Difesa is a vast fresco depicting the popes, cardinals, and saints of an Italian heaven, flanked by such notables as Marconi, the Duke of Abruzzi, and on horseback, Benito Mussolini. In the espresso bars, there are the pleasures of contemporary Italian civilization.
Il mio peccato con te, aver piaciuto con te, da quando un giorno mi dicesti innamorato, sono due rock, il mio peccato di rock, ero geloso di rock, ed incapace sono stato di distoglierti dal rock. E dopo un giorno, io t'ho lasciato, ed ho peccato per colpa del rock, sì, solamente del rock. Ed ora cosa farò? Io t'ho lasciato però, vorrei che tu sapessi che le colpe solo del tuo rock. Lo sai che cosa farò? A tutto il mondo dirò, se voi cercate il vero amore allontanatevi dal rock.
Magazines like Time, Life and Maclean's are replaced by Epoca, Tempo and L'Europeo. It could be Naples or Palermo. In fact, it's a sweltering afternoon in Montreal, and everybody has moved out onto the sidewalks. It's not easy adjusting to life in a new country, where the language is different and jobs hard to find. But among your own people, the problems are shared. In speech and gesture, clothes and faces, there is a reassurance of the old country.
Cosa farò? Io t'ho lasciato però, vorrei che tu sapessi che la colpa è solo del tuo rock. Lo sai che cosa farò? A tutto il mondo dirò, se voi cercate il vero amore allontanatevi dal rock. Peccato rock, 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 peccato rock.
Attori no. Ascolta, il buono e il cattivo dappertutto.
No, te lo dico.
Il bravo e il buono dappertutto. Ma sì, Giacomo, voglio Giacomo, no.
No, quello che mi interessa è farvi sapere che i siciliani hanno romanizzato anche Roma.
Non è vero,
non è difficile.
Esiste prima
è
della
difficile,
Sicilia.
no, è
Ascolta,
difficile. No.
Sicilia,
Quando in Sicilia c'era il teatro greco di Siracusa, il teatro greco di Timperi o di Taormina, a Roma era ancora una palude.
La storia parla dei romani.
No, la storia parla dei greci.
Sai
Noi
perché?
siciliani prima di essere
Buono, perfetto. Come no? Non era buono con lui? Non era buono con lui? Sei malato? Ma che tiri tu? Dove che tiri? Hai visto che tiri, chef? Che tiri? Di che andare una parte, era buono. Lo fa? Lo fa la mia parte. Lo fa con il testo.
Is their weekend going to be a real North American weekend? The Italians of this quarter don't have summer cottages. They don't often go on trips to the country, nor do they go to the lakes or the mountains. They prefer to stay in town. It's part of the way of life. During the summer, they cultivate vacant lots, grow flowers and vegetables. A few green beans don't add up to much in the domestic budget, but to a one-time farmer, they are a very real achievement, for North America has yielded something to him. He can grow beans before the others can build their houses and grow those little lawns that always seem to need watering. But there must be flowers. Flowers to try and camouflage the ugliness of urban North America, where nature seems to be constantly uprooted, but never restored.
Oh, roba dell'altro mondo, questo ancora non lo sa se gli va bene.
Goodbye.
The Italians have made immigration a family affair. The son brings over the father. The father brings over the cousin. The cousin marries an Italian girl by proxy. The successful sons of Italian immigrants in North America have created a kind of Italian-American mythology, whose heroes have names like Di Maggio, La Guardia, Marciano, Sinatra.
State fermo con le mani che si sgonfia.
Perhaps the older immigrants do not share the belief in this mythology. They have heroes of their own, men who won honor in the Italy they left so long ago.
L'atleta del bosco. E voilà! Il signor Pomidoro e la sua robusta famiglia eseguono per voi il numero dell'arrampicata, dell'ingrossamento, della maturazione e dell'acrobazia.
Ma non li vuoi bere? Bere. Bere. Porca roba, da bere, no? Bere, vai vedere che bere, vai. Aspetta che mi facciamo un brindisi.
In the bottle, homemade wine. Not a great vintage, but it has the virtue of being made from grapes grown in California by an Italian vine grower.
Stai bene adesso?
And a little wine helps remind them of Italy on this continent of Coke drinkers.
Coi pomidoro pelati bravo al mare.
È buono? Ti piace? Bene. Su 10, 15, 20, 24, 26. 26 punti. 23, 24, 25.
They decided against the familiar life in a small Italian town, a predictable future. Instead, they took a boat for North America and adventure. Like many European immigrants, they dreamt of making a fortune in the land where the streets are paved with gold. More practically, they dreamt of the almighty dollar and lucrative overtime. Perhaps they had already decided on the shiny American car with which they would return in triumph to Italy. But getting jobs is more of a problem in Montreal than it is in Milan or Rome. They get used to the low wages, the underemployment, the overcrowding. They get used to living with an uncertain future.
Da uno da su aí. Da uno da su.
For the Italians, football is like a religion, observed with a dedicated intensity. The spectators are the priests, the game a ceremony. They have brought from Italy their sporting mythology, and they know the litany of football by heart. In baseball or hockey, they have little interest. Here at Delormier Stadium, Montreal's Cantalia team meets Toronto's Italia. Sports teams, newspapers, radio and TV programs, movie theaters, their own civil registration of births, deaths and marriages. The Italians have made a home from home for themselves in the country where pizza and spaghetti have become as popular as hot dogs and hamburgers. Italy, many of them were peasants. In Canada, they have turned without difficulty to their new jobs as builders, masons, painters. In the vast works of demolition and construction characteristic of North American cities, the Italian immigrant has carved himself a special place. He seems to have a feeling for building, for working in wood and stone and marble, the traditional fabric of his native country. On Sunday evenings, in the little park among the trees, do they recall a more familiar landscape? Do childhood memories return? Here the grass doesn't smell the same as it does in the Abruzzi, but the turf has the same spring underfoot. Tomorrow they'll be at factory and workshop again. And on the construction sites, they'll be back building with bricks and mortar, and wood and stone.
Ti fai chiamare Giannina, Giannina, Giannina. Ti fai chiamare Marina, Marina.